people automatically go to the man being the problem. So when I say, you know, I'm divorced, whatever, they're like, oh God, what did he do? Oh, good for you. You can do better. You know, and it's sort of like, oh, it was me, actually. It wasn't him. So we met when I was about 19. And he became my best friend. We decided to get married a few years later. We got married very young. I was about 23 at the time. Got married very young, and he was amazing. He was a great provider. He was a good friend, and things were good. We had a baby. Things were good until they weren't. Well, before when we met, I was 130 pounds heavier. So I lost 130 pounds and kind of lost my mind. When we got married, I was 320 pounds at my heaviest. And yeah, lost the weight and kind of went south. All my life, I've been a fat girl. So this was the first time that I actually got to be the it girl, so to speak, you know. But he loved me big. He never complained. He always complimented me, treated me like I was beautiful, but I didn't feel beautiful. So I went ahead with the weight loss. He was obsessed with me. I mean, when I say in a healthy way, he loved me deeply. And I never felt like I had to do a lot to keep him around. He always wanted to be around. I was very depressed when I was at that weight. Very. Even throughout my marriage. And even my ex-husband would reassure me and tell me, you're beautiful, don't worry. I still felt bad within myself. I think that he felt betrayal. How could you do this and I met you at this weight? How could you lose this weight and just totally change when I met you at this weight? I think that he did because he supported me. He was there for me when I was 320 pounds. But then when I lost the weight, I dressed differently. I wore more fitting clothes. I started to go out a lot more with my girlfriends, more than ever. I started getting a lot of attention, a lot more attention from men. And I didn't know how to handle it. I just couldn't handle it. At first, he kind of let it slide. He stayed at home with the baby. I had a 1-year-old at the time. And he stayed at home with the baby and he kind of let me do my thing. Yeah, at first. And then he was like, okay, do you have to go out every weekend?
Oh, he was out every weekend.
And during the week sometimes. So met a guy at work and we started to become friends. He was very flirtatious, gave me a lot of attention. I had just had a baby. I was about a year postpartum. And I was feeling, I mean, the weight was gone, but I was still feeling bad. I was feeling bored and frumpy, and I just wanted some excitement. I had to see him. You know, he would walk me to my car if it was too dark at night, whatever. And we began to talk on the phone. It was over after that. And we started talking, we became friends, and it was like, well, let's go out for a drink. I'm like, okay, cool. So then now I'm lying to my husband saying I'm going out with the girls when really I'm going to meet him. And it just gradually worked itself up from there. And I was just so enamored with this person and his personality and his charisma. And he wasn't boring. And I was excited to go to work. You know, it was crazy. It was crazy. I had never felt that way before in my life. Ever. Like the excitement, what I thought at the time was love. I had never felt that before. Ever. I have never felt so more desired in my life. Ever. And even though my husband, he was very uplifting, you're beautiful, you're this, but this was different. This was, not only did he tell me I was beautiful, but I actually felt it too. You know, when my husband would tell me, I'd be like, oh, whatever, you're supposed to say that. But when this guy, it was just different. We started talking every single day, meeting before work, staying late after work. And it just progressed from there. When I met him, that's when it all started. The emotional cheating and then the physical cheating.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it was exciting because it was a secret. But when I came home, I loathed coming home. I did not want to come home. I wanted to be in that excitement, that euphoria forever. I hated coming home. But it was so exciting and enchanting, and I did not want to stop. It became an addiction. I only wanted the other guy. I thought I was in love. I was, you know, my random, crazy, mixed up depiction of love. That's what I felt at the time, and I didn't want anybody with him. I didn't care. I was so enamored. It wasn't his wife, so I thought I was okay. I'm like, whatever, it's just your baby mama, who cares? But I was a little jealous because there were times I wanted to be with him and I couldn't because he had someone else. I had way more freedom than him. He was mine. I was going crazy, nearly lost it. He was mine at the time. Well, actually, I didn't find out until it was over between him and I.
Oh.
But it crushed me, even after the fact. It crushed me. Because I felt like he lied. Like, how could you lie to me? We don't lie here. You know, we tell each other everything. How could you lie? So I felt betrayed. But it was over by that point, so it was nothing. I confessed I couldn't sleep. My conscience was eating me alive, and I was exhausted from all the lies. And I had to be one person at work, one person with him, one person at church. It was too much. I couldn't talk to anybody about it. It became very messy between me and the other guy because I wanted his time. And he knew what it was.
Yeah,
I didn't know what it was. I mean, I knew, but I didn't want to accept it.
Yeah.
I thought that the relationship that we had was so powerful that I could change his mind. He knew what it was. He was more logical about it than I was. I was ready to leave my baby, leave my family. This was nice. I love y'all. I see y'all on the weekend. I wanted to be with him at all costs. When I say leave my kid, I mean, here, Dad, you can have her. I'll see y'all on the weekend. If this don't work out, she's yours. Just let me be happy with him. In my mind, I wanted to tell him what I had done. I wanted him to leave me, and so I could be with this guy. That's what the plan was at first. I said, look, this is what it is. The pain that I saw in his eyes, that didn't feel good. Because that was my best friend. That was my best friend. And that didn't feel good. He was so discombobulated when I told him.
Now, your boyfriend is like, hold on, what you doing?
Yeah. He's like, I hope this is not for me. And I'm like,
oh, shit.
No, it's not for you,
but it's a little convenient.
It's convenient, but, he's like, well, I still have my kids, and, I still have my girl. He wouldn't call her his wife. I still have my girl, my kids.
Basically telling you don't get it fucked up.
Yeah. In other words, you knew what this was. You couldn't handle it.
So, does he actually leave? What do you
So he left, and he stayed with a family member for a couple weeks, and we talked about it daily. Every day he had new questions. Every day he was calling me and, trying to get more information about what had transpired over the year and a half, almost 2 years. And it was a lot. It was a lot of things that I had to break down and tell him. There was a pregnancy he didn't know about. Well, he knew about, but he didn't know that there was someone else involved. It was a lot.
You were pregnant by the other guy?
I think. And when I say I think, it's because I was having an affair. So I was with that guy and my husband at the same time. So I didn't know.
You terminated the pregnancy?
So I had to terminate the pregnancy because I just couldn't handle that.
No.
I couldn't handle it. I didn't know I couldn't go through 9 months of torture like that. He's like, so you were pregnant by him? He had so many questions. And I had to explain to him, like, I don't know. I was seeing him and being with you at the same time. I don't know. But at the time, financially, we weren't ready for another baby. And I was able to persuade him that this wasn't the right time. So my ex-husband, he knew about the pregnancy, but he didn't know that it may have involved someone else. I just persuaded him to, like, this is not the right time. I'm on birth control. There could be birth defects, whatever. I shouldn't do this. Let's not do this. And he was so supportive. He's like, whatever you want to do.
What do you say to the women that are in search of a man like the one you had? Like, that
they don't make them like that no more. Period. And I stand on that 10 toes down till this day. And he's remarried happily. I love his wife. She's wonderful with my daughter. They're really great. But I stand on that 10 toes down. They don't make them like him anymore. So if a woman is ever that lucky to find someone remotely close, fight for that. Stand stay true to that.